Patrol logs of U-96, July the 7th, 1942. Having reported in to the leading officer, we have once again received an assignment to head back to the Arctic Convoys, this time to sector AC2 to AC5, where military shipping to the USSR is starting to grow again each month. The BDU's concern with the growing supplies and troops being sent to the USSR will make it very difficult for our troops on the Eastern Front. We have been sent up to the Arctic Convoys one more time. We must sink a minimum tonnage of 7,000 tons. And to record one of these momentous war patrols for the propaganda back home, we'll have war correspondent Dieter Esfield joining the crew as he writes about life on board one of the U-boats, telling the readers back home of the impressive feats of bravery and courage displayed on the open sea. Okay, just coming through the U-boat now. The war correspondent has more questions for us. Yes, my friend. War correspondent, Dieter, seems to be confused about something. Suddenly he reaches out and asks Ralph Becker why there is a second periscope in the control room. This periscope is used to calculate torpedo solutions. This periscope is better for spotting aircraft and navigation. It's classified. It's the observation periscope. The war correspondent thanks you. He seems to be really curious about that. Great. Glad to have helped. Good. So he's over halfway through his war correspondent now. You can see in the top right hand corner. All's going well. Got a copy of the latest newspaper there. Still en route to our patrol location. And hopefully we'll get some action as soon as we get there. So he's got something interesting to report on to the peoples back home. Meanwhile, I think it's time for us to go back to bed. Hi everyone, we're just coming to our patrol area now and we can see a ship on the horizon. Now, judging by the flags, it could be Spanish. You can see the red strips top and bottom and a paler colour in the middle. Now, if that's yellow, then that would be a Spanish flag. But we have known that Spanish flags sometimes do appear weird in the light, sometimes from a distance. But I think that's Spanish. So what this might be a good opportunity is to sail on over to this merchant ship now and get the war correspondent to come around and see how we patrol and see how we inspect these ships for any smuggled cargo in the area. So we can, we can show that we're abiding by the maritime laws and stuff of the war. Okay, here is the freighter. It is a Spanish vessel. This freighter is unarmed, seems not to be escorted. While it sails under a neutral flag, ideally we should investigate what it's carrying and its destination to ensure that it is not smugglers headed for an enemy port. I agree. So, what do we have? Now we have had a change around of personnel. One of the leaders has gone into the HQ to do some research there. And we've also swapped out our sound engineer. He's a Portuguese speaker. Well, that's neighbouring Spain. We don't have any Spanish speakers though. But we've got the captain who's got management. He's got navigation as well. So we'll send the captain. We'll send our Portuguese speaker. And we've got a French speaker here as well. So we'll send them. And we'll send 7... sailors with them as well. You see the little speedboat coming across. There's the delegation across to the freighter in their little rubber dinghy. Ooh, they went slightly under the water then, but they seem to have managed it on board without any casualties. Merchant ship deck. Your crew climbs the deck with some help from the cargo ship's crew. After that, you're welcomed by the ship's captain. He tries to communicate in Spanish and doesn't speak German too well. Sadly, it turns out to be quite problematic, but nevertheless, both parties managed to make somewhat basic conversation. After exchanging pleasantries, he invites you to the private room. Okay. Let's accept that and go into the cabin. In the deckhouse, your officers sit with the captain of the ship's galley. After a small talk, captain asks and state what do they need. Let's ask for the documents. Ask for the documents and state that the cargo is loaded in the ship and where it is heading. He was ready for this since he's had these documents already prepared and hands them to you right away. He's looking a bit nervous when you carefully analyse the document's contents. You can't decipher much from these documents, though. Since they're written in Spanish, you only manage to spot some reference to the port of Vigo, so it's probably where they're heading. If your interpretation is correct, the ship is not involved in the war effort, and sinking it could lead to a diplomatic incident of some degree. So we don't have a linguist, which is slightly annoying. Okay, we'll have to just accept that then. An officer from your group looked around the freighter accompanied by a talkative sailor who speaks some German. He shared his view on the war and told you about his uncle who married a woman from Hamburg. Of course he did. What should we do? Let's have a look at the transported goods. Oh, what's that? Iron ore, coal, lumber. I think we're going to have to return to the ship. There's nothing obvious, although the port of Vigo is a long way from here. And they're sailing in the wrong direction. I suspect they are doing something underhand, but I can't prove it, which is the key thing here. Evidence to prove, to back up our actions is what we need. So we're going to return to our ship and let them go. Delegation back on board. All going back to their main journeys, and the Spanish ship Monte Alea is sailing off again. A little while later, as we're out on patrol, we get a transmission from the BDU with information that critical technology has been loaded onto the freighter SS Suvik. It must be sunk at all costs. Predicted location 73.6 north, 22.51 east. Okay. We'll confirm that and we'll begin the hunt. Oh, it's a PQ convoy. Let's head down here, see if we can get ahead of her. I assume she's going towards the USSR. Inbound, heavily laden with goods, and yeah, we'll see if we can intercept and pick out the ship and pick out a number of ships. It would be nice to get a big tonnage on this patrol. Okay, welcome back everyone. We're sitting down at 30 meters, and I don't know what's going on. You can see this was the line that the convoy was traversing along, and all of a sudden they've scattered. They must have detected us or something. There looks to be a large warship there, and we've got some large freighters going back and forth. And so we're down at 33 meters. Let's come up to periscope depth. So we can prepare for having a shot if we need be. Let's get torpedoes warmed up if we can. And prepare for an attack. I'm not sure how this is going to pan out because, yeah, the convoy's kind of scattered, as I said, which is going to make it very difficult to get any bead on a ship for firing at. But maybe we can have a rearward shot at this ship here. Okay, we're bringing up the periscope now. I brought the snorkel down. We had just topped up the air for a little bit, but now's the time to get rid of that. We turned the boat around to face their current course. There you go. You see a war destroyer over there. We've got possibly a Norwegian ship there. American Liberty. Corvette. Corvette. Smoke on the horizon. Lots of smoke on the horizon. Okay. So if we line up a shot for these first couple of ships. Let's lock onto this one. I think that's the Norwegian looking flag. And that is a bell. Yes, it looks like a bell, doesn't it? Velocity. Now, have we got an enhancement for this? Stand by. There we go. 6 knots. Okay. Course. 5. There you go. Set that. And distance was 5,400 meters, was it? It's not quite that. 054. We got a T1. Sorry, we got a T3, T3, T5, T1. That's a T5. Sorry, my eyes are funny. Okay, we'll let them come a little bit closer. Right, 3.5 kilometers, 59. Alright, we've got a tracking on there. Oh, hang on, I've got that as 49. Let's go to 60. There we go. Tracking the same now, good. 3,500 meters. That's all looking good. 60-bit knots. Okay. We're going to fire the T3. Let's round that up to got 3.6, so we want it to turn right. There we go. Okay, we're ready to fire. Tube 2, fire. Right. Got a destroyer there. Let's lock on to this. Liberty. Recognize that. We know she's doing 6 knots. Course. Course is 45. And she's 5,500 meters away. Right. Just on the edge. 46. About there. Right. What have we got here? T5, T1, here we go. We need to clock that up to go on, there you go. And turn right. Fire. Tube 4 gone. Right, we've got 2 T5s in there. I'm tempted to fire. Right. Get this T5 loaded. We'll fire that at the Liberty as well. This could go astray, but fire. And then maybe the destroyer as well. Or was that a bit of a waste? Probably is a bit of a waste. But it'll stop him coming to give us a hard time. Destroyer, right. Tribal class? No. B class. Recognize. 6 knots. Okay, that's 58. Right, 5,000 meters. 5,000 meters, 50. About there. Speed is right. Good. Right. Tube 3. Fire. Right. Let's make depth 100 meters.
100 Meter.
Scope down. Okay, we've been listening very carefully to the hydrophone. We've got 2 hits. I'll show you what's... One of these guys, are you okay? One of these guys was close to panicking, but we seem to be okay. Let me just bring you up to speed. So, I've got a warship there. I think we've got a torpedo going back and forth. This torpedo was for the Liberty. Unfortunately, it went past. When the first torpedo struck the Empire tower, which turned out to be the ship with the critical technology, the rest of the convoy went to dead stop, and it obviously passed in front of it. It's obviously been set up to search for some targets, so it's been going back and forth. It'd be close to running out of steam. So the third torpedo, which was our homing acoustic, that unfortunately did not go for where we wanted it to go. It actually peeled off and hit the Empire Tower, which was already in trouble. And the fourth torpedo, which was another homing acoustic, struck a destroyer, but we're not sure. It looks like the destroyer is still operational. So, yeah, we're staying down here, keeping quiet while we're reloading the torpedoes. Not silent running, because we want to get those torpedoes reloaded, because there are more ships coming in. Okay, we come back up to periscope depth. We've got a corvette coming literally straight for us, but we've got an opportunity to get some torpedoes away and some quite big ships here, so it'd be silly not to. What have we got loaded? We've got T1, T3, T1, T1. Okay. Knock on to the first one. Empire Portia. Okay, let's get her. She is an Empire Belle. Yes, she is. Let's recognise that. Do a speed check. She's doing 8 knots. Okay. Okay, she's got a course of 69. She's 2,100 meters away. P1. Actually, what's the draft is 7.45. 7.5, magnetic, fire. Tube 1 away. Right, tube 2. Let's target this C3. That's gone out, so that's a flat. Here we go. Let's get this loaded. Let's get that to 3.5. I'm going to bring that down to 2.5, so it's got a chance of, if it misses this, hitting something else. Fire. Tube 4. I'll do the same. Fire. There's a 2 torpedo ship if ever I saw one. And maybe this C3? No. Probably not going to manage that, so let's try the this one in front of us. Okay, and that's 66 and 3,300. 666, good. Right. Tube 3. Turn right. 60 degrees. Fire. Right, make depth 100 meters once more. Scope down. Okay, depth charges coming down. We're making sure we're at dangerous depth. I know. Making sure everything's switched off and we're being as quiet as possible. Coming down to 160 meters now. Oh my god! And yet everyone is trouncing up and down, opening all the hatches. Good god. Discipline's gone. Unfortunately, we fired the torpedoes, and it would seem that the remaining 3 have initially missed their intended target because, again, the ships, once they see a torpedo attack, they immediately halt from 8 knots down to 0. Without any evasive maneuvers as well. It's a little unrealistic, but you know, the fact that a huge 8,000-ton ship can stop instantly is a little bit hard to fathom. There's no inertia, apparently. It's above us. Torpedoes hit the enemy. Well, that's something. Serious damage. Nice. So obviously we set them to home. So if they go past a certain distance, I think it was 3,500 meters, it'll then turn and sort of loop back on itself to try and find the ship. Obviously we've managed to strike one on its return leg. Those depth charges were a little bit shallow, which is good. So now we're trying to quieten the crew down. I'll put them all on their bunks. Why is that open? Goodness me. Okay, a little bit of time has passed. Oh, there's the wreckage of the ship we hit. Lots of what appeared to be live rafts. Okay, but there's a ship on the hydrophone in front of us somewhere. There it is. Liberty. Get the get that recognised. Get a quick speed check done. And yeah, we can have a shot at the SS Frank Lever. Maybe that's a 2 torpedo shot. She's a big ship. And we don't want to... well, I suppose we've got that Empire ship, which is kind of just stuck on the mid-sink. So we do need to pop up at some point and finish them off with a deck gun. But if we've got 2 torpedoes reloaded, then that will be probably preferable to try and get a clean kill on this one. What's the draft? 7.2. Let's get that flooded. put this one down to 7.5 magnetic. Fire. Tube 2, we'll bring that up on the surface, so if it does miss, then it's got a sporting chance of hitting another ship. And high impact torpedoes also better chance of getting fires going. So tube 2, fire. Right, tube 3 is still with us. What else we got? That ship that's sinking, they're banging those bloody hatches again. Have we got anything going behind us? Yes, oh, we do. Hello. What we got in tube 5? Out of range tube T1 though. If it was a T5, I would have chanced having a shot at that. Maybe it'll sort itself out and we can have a shot at it. So let's. Yeah, looks like it's easing up. So Empire Gareth. Oh, seriously. Open those bloody bulkheads. Can't stand that. I can't stand it. It's enough to drive a man crazy. So course is 48 in the red. And she's close. We're just going to fire without it being warmed up. Tube 5 away. Corvette coming towards us. We're going to need to dive. Can we get a quick snapshot at anything else? It's a little bit far away. Now let's dive. Torpedo on the Liberty behind. Good strike. Oh, and the torpedo has just gone behind the Gareth by a fraction. And a second torpedo strike on the Liberty. Depth charge is being dropped. We're coming down to our crush depth now. Test depth anyway. We might be getting closer. Steady, man. Oh my god, why does it keep flipping me around? That's so annoying. Steady, everyone. It's a hell of a depth charge. Drop. More depth charges coming down. We are moving. Let's chance closing the bulkheads. Why do they all shout? Okay, a couple hours later we've managed to get away from those corvettes and we've moved our way back to where we had the shots. As you can see, 3 ships sunk and we've got one sort of hanging around. Now we're detecting a ship down there and we're a ship over here, but you're talking, what's that, over 10 kilometers, 29 kilometers. So we're going to chance surfacing the boat, getting the deck gun, and finishing off this this Empire ship here. Okay, we've manned the deck gun, and there she is. We hopefully don't get any ricochets or anything stupid like that. High explosives loaded. Maybe some armor piercing into the keel would be better. Get the water flooding in. hopefully when she goes, take a stock of the ships we've hit. We've got 5 today. 4, definitely. Whether or not it regards the destroyer as one of those. Oh, finally! She rolls over and she sinks. My goodness me. Oh, the front falls off. Okay, she seems to take so many shells. So about 40 shells. But she's eventually gone. Crikey. Right, let's stow the deck gun. And take account of what we got left. We've only got 2 torpedoes left. Okay. So let's head back to port. And get a resupply. And as we come back into port for debriefing, campaign objective progressed. Good, good, good. Up to 146,362 tons on the 400 goal setting. And the SS Suvik was sunk. Intel tells us this ship had a registered tonnage of 5,825 tons, was transporting utilities from Liverpool to Murmansk. It's registered in Norway. Empire Portia sunk, registered in the UK, carrying utilities from Liverpool to Murmansk, registered tonnage of 5,896 tons. The SSA Frank Lever was sunk. The ship had a tonnage of 7,188 tons, was transporting medical supplies from unknown to unknown. It was registered in the US. Empire Mersey, registered in the UK, carrying medical supplies from Liverpool to Murmansk. Gross registered tonnage 4,392. So there we go. Mission summary: rewards 12,000 cash, 66% reputation boost, tonnage sunk 23,301 tons, 10 days, 14 hours at sea, a total of 4,711.9 kilometers travelled. Confirmation: we got the Empire Explorer SS Suvik sunk. The V-class destroyer was also sunk, plus the Empire Porter, Empire Explorer, the Liberty Freighter, and another Empire Tower. So, there we go. 5 ships in all. Obviously, didn't classify the tonnage for the destroyer, but it's always nice to sink a destroyer before they sink us. We found the Suvik. We sunk it. We allowed the war correspondent to collect material for his publication. So all that's gone well as well. And obviously, he saw some glorious sights of us destroying a destroyer, which the people will love, and obviously the merchant shipping as well. Travelled 2,250 kilometres inside our patrol zone, which we did, and we needed to get a minimum of 7,000 tons. We smashed that quite convincingly, 3 times as much, in fact. Good, good. Right, we'll get the ship re-supplied, get torpedoes reloaded, and give the guys a few days off to recuperate, gather their thoughts, and we'll be going again very soon. Still no transfer orders to La Rochelle, unfortunately. They're not available to us, but I'm still watching, still looking, and we're still getting a few stutters. I've alleviated some of it, so what I might do is zap the game and reinstall fresh. I think I installed this when it was in early access, and it's just updated after that. So it's probably a good best part of 2 years now it's been on my system. So probably a wipe and a fresh install and put the mods back on, and you may see some performance improvements. So I might well do that as well. So thanks ever so much for watching. Take care. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.